I'm Audrey Johns of Lose Weight by Eating, and today I'm going to show you how to make my chunky salsa, also known as Pico De Gallo. It only requires just a few ingredients. We're going to start with the cilantro. We're just going to chop it up. We've got about a 1/4 cup here. Just want to chop it real well. And you always want to use fresh cilantro in this recipe. It really boosts the flavor. Dried cilantro will just kind of have a dried cilantro grassy kind of a flavor. All right, I'm gonna add this to a bowl. And next, we're gonna move on to a jalapeno. And I'm gonna show you my trick for cutting a jalapeno. First, we're gonna cut the top off. Just discard it. Then we're just gonna slice down the side, but not too deep in. This way, the seeds and the ribs are still on the inside. This chunky salsa recipe can be found in the link below, and there you'll find a printable recipe card, nutrition, and more. So here's all the parts of the jalapeno we don't want. We're just gonna discard that, and we're gonna chop up our jalapeno. Now I'm making half of the recipe, so I'm gonna save half of this jalapeno for later. You want it nice and thin, and then you just chop your matchsticks. It's such a quick, easy, and really, really low calorie recipe. It's under 20 calories per serving, and you can have it obviously with chips, but it goes really great on lots of different dishes. And also, I like to add it to rice and just cook it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and you end up having a really, really nice rice dish. Now we're gonna move on to our tomatoes. And I've got Roma tomatoes here because that's what was on sale, but you could use any kind of tomato that you find. We're gonna go a little bit thicker on this one because it is a chunky salsa. And here we go. It's so easy and fast. And I do have a tip for you. If you're having a hard time chopping with your knife, because maybe it's not as new and as sharp as this one is, you can use a steak knife. What you want is a serrated knife, and it will get right through the skin. But I'm gonna go back to my fancy knife here. Now I'm going to use this Pico De Gallo, this chunky salsa, in another recipe that I'll be uploading later. And you, again, can use this on pretty much anything you like. Once we get done with the tomatoes, we're gonna chop up half of an onion. Now, I like to use the white onion because that's traditional, but you could absolutely go milder and use some red onions. They're a lot more mild, not quite such a sharp flavor. And again, you could use whatever tomatoes you find on sale. Just make sure they're nice and ripe. It already smells really good. Okay, next we're gonna do our onion. We only need half of an onion because we're only doing half of the recipe. And my little trick for onions, I like to leave the bottom on where the little fuzzy part is, and I peel back one layer so that I can use it to hold on to. Then, because I don't want to cry here on camera with y'all, I'm gonna thinly slice it. And then, look how easy that is just to mince up. And I just discard the rest. Really easy and fast, great way to get your onions done. And the whole idea with onions is you want to go as fast as possible so that you're not smelling them, so that you don't start crying. All right, our last ingredient, before we get to salt and pepper, of course, is gonna be a lime. We only need half of a lime in this recipe. And I'm gonna squeeze it with this little guy, just so I get every last little bit of lime out. When you do pick limes, you wanna make sure you get a nice soft lime. Those are gonna be the juicier. All right. Now, just gonna mix it up. And look at this gorgeous salsa. It smells so nice. Now, if you're gonna have this with salty chips, you could probably go ahead and skip the salt. Not to mention, the lime kind of has that bite that you're going for with salty foods. All right, let's taste it. It does need a tiny bit of salt. And when making recipes like this, I always recommend you taste it before you salt it. You might not end up needing salt. So here we have it. Low calorie, under 5 minutes, Pico De Gallo. Check out the link below and make sure to come back soon where I'm gonna be making low calorie nachos and topping it with this wonderful chunky salsa. Happy cooking.